streamed. Got it. God, look at my bloody crazy hair.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good morning. Welcome to WLF Kicks. My name is Steve Mascord. I was just having a chat with our next guest, and I thought I've got to be on the ball more. So when there's an opportunity for content, you got to take it. You got to grab it. You don't have to plan everything days in advance or warn people. So our guest is actually, there's an interesting story about our guest because his uncle used to own the doctor's surgery in Feathered in tiny town in Tipperary, where my wife is from. And that is apropos of absolutely nothing. There is no connection at all between the guest and my wife, I hope, that I'm unaware of. It's just a coincidence. Matt Cleary, how are you, Matt?
Hey, Sebastian, very well. And great to be with you.
Yes. And we are here to talk about your new project, The Milk, which is a book which about Canberra's 40 years, and they started in 82 along with the Mighty Steelers. And you're currently sort of fundraising for that, aren't you? So this is an important space, I think, probably for a lot of people about how to sort of raise money for a project that you're passionate about. Tell us what The Milk is.
So The Milk, yes, obviously the Raiders are going to be 40 years of existence, round one of 2022. I've got the idea, so I'm going to write a book, obviously, about the history, but it's going to be sort of equal parts memoir as well. So, I've been a Raiders fan since 82. So the idea, and I got it from a book called Season of Saturdays by Michael Weinrib, who did a history of American college football based on 14 games. And so, he picked out a game from 1901, and then he picked another game from 1922 and just came up with all these very interesting tidbits around each game, some of the people in each team, coaches. And so that's my idea. I'm going to call it The Milk, obviously, because of the bloody, the famous Canberra Milk logo on the jumper, and I'm going to do it around 20 games because it's just a nice round number. I thought I'd do 20 chapters of 4,000 words. That's pretty much how I'm going to do it, and just pick out 20 games and around some eras. So the first game is going to be the 1997 Monero versus the visiting British Lions. Larry Corowa scored 5 tries, and that's going to lead up from. But we're going to go back to dream time. Lead up to Larry Corowa and Percy Knight playing for the Monero team that scored 5 tries in this game against the British Lions. And they flogged them. So the Monero team beat the British Lions a day after, the very day after, a game called the Rugby League World Cup Final of 1977. So they were a bit out of sorts, the Lions, and they got touched up.
How did they play the next day? Obviously, it was the B team, right?
Well, they just sent a bunch of blokes. They must have got the bus down, or they flew out that night. But they were by they probably got on the drink the night before too. But the night after, the day after, they played Australia at the SCG, Great Britain. Larry Corowa scored 5 tries. Anyway, so that's game one of my 20 games to talk about The Milk. That's the idea.
Yeah. And how did you go about sort of raising money for it? Or did it start off with, well, here's a project, that can keep the wheels turning, or did it start off with, I'd like to do a book on the Raiders, and you've always wanted to do a book on the Raiders, or how did it, what's the motivation there?
Yeah, so I mean, I've just, so I wrote the book called A Short History of Golf, which did all right. And, I'm obviously a mad for golf, but not so much for history. But I'm clearly a mad Raiders fan, and I thought I'd do a passion play, if you like. So I started doing a blog called The Milk on a platform called Substack, and that started. And I thought, I'm enjoying this, so I'll do a book. Then I found this. So there were two ideas. I thought there's one called Kickstarter and there's another one called GoFundMe. GoFundMe seems to be a lot more about probably more a charity thing, or if you know someone who was crook, look after the kids, or it's more of a sort of a charitable thing. But Kickstarter is can you hear my bloody dog going off there in the background? Do you want to pause?
No, hey. It's okay. It's okay.
Is it okay?
It adds to the character.
All right. Kickstarter is aimed more at artists. So there's people that raise money to print their own graphic novel, or they've got a bit of music they want to take to the market, or freelance journalists who want to print a book and even print out or anything. I mean, I got the idea. A friend of my wife's printed a kids book. She made a kids book. Got 300 people to back it for the printing of it. They all got a copy and they all got their name in the back of the book. Don't know if she made any money on top of it, but she did get a kids book. It was a zero-sum game at the best of times anyway. And all these people paid for their book. They got a book and they got the name in the back, and she made a kids book. That's the Kickstarter. That's how it's going. So I'm going to try and raise 10 grand because I've got that as a sort of rough round number for both publishing, printing, postage, and then publicity and time. And so I'm going to get 10 grand, make 1,000 of them, and and just sell them to buggery. That's the plan.
Now, tell us about hurdles. What are some of the hurdles you've sort of faced?
Well, when I first set it out, I just designed a cover. When I first sent my big email out, I designed a cover with the milk, and I had the Raiders jumper on it. So I had the Raiders logo and the Raiders and the NRL brand on it. It was just the jumper. And I got a letter from the NRL saying, well, you're not allowed to do that. You can't print this book. Well, that's what they said. But no, look, I can print the book. I just can't use any of their logos or branding or IP or licensing or anything like that. So it's just going to be a book with words, which I'm good at words. So I'm just going to design the cover and just turn it into a book. But the challenges wise, look, mate, it's only been going 7 days, really, the project, if you like, and it's going all right. We've raised sort of 4 grand out of the 10. Got 3 weeks left to try and raise the other 6. Think about Kickstarter. If you don't reach the number that you set, it becomes nothing. So all the people that say yes, I've pledged, no one's credit card is charged until you reach the 10K, or the November the 3rd is my deadline. So there's a bit of pressure on there. If that's a challenge, there's a bit of pressure on to make it happen. Mate, there's no more. I don't think there's any more pressure than normal freelance sports writer life that and I know very well, which is chasing your next pitching stories, chasing away. It's it's a bit of a leap of faith, a bit of by the seat of your pants in so many ways as well. But I'm sort of used to that, and I've been doing it 20 years. So I know pressure's not the worst thing. Pressure's can give you a bit of a kick up the bum.
Yeah. Tell us about the writing. We'll go in a minute, but tell us where are you up to in the writing?
Got 4 chapters pretty much done. So mate, I've just 4 chapters out of 20. I've got all the other. I know where I'm going with each one. I know which era I'm going to be covering, which game I'm going to be covering. It's just a matter of doing it now. I've got a bunch of former players to ring up. I had a chat with what's his name, Peter McGrath, who was the fullback in the first game the other day in game 1. Who went on to be actually the chairman of the Australian Rugby Union, of all things, and he used to play for Queanbeyan Blues years ago. Had a chat with him, so it's just a matter of ringing up all these blokes, and transcribing their bloody words or picking the best little, bits and bobs out of it. Just time, mate. You know yourself. Bringing up. You'd have made 1,000 calls for 2 tribes. So transcribing sort of shrinks your balls, doesn't it? The idea of it.
It's not a lot of fun. I mean, some people can afford now to get transcription services to do the transcriptions, but they tend to. I mean, unless it's someone who knows all the names and everything, you end up fixing. Yeah, you end up spending as much time fixing, and it's a waste of money, really.
No, that's right. Yeah, and it's sort of $1. What is it, $1 a minute or something?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, okay. I've even tried to come. Sorry, go.
So, mate, where can everyone sort of support you? And I'm aware that it's Friday night your time, and I'm just getting started on Friday morning. Where can everyone find the milk?
You can go to themilk.substack.com to read my little blog, and you can buy a book that way, or just go to Kickstarter. If you Google Kickstarter The Milk, I come up. Go in there and pledge. So it's $40. Or I think you spend 100. What do you get for 100? Something. There's rewards. That's the thing about Kickstarter. You can offer rewards. Yep. So top of my head, I can't even remember what it is now. But anyway, it's $40 a book.
And then include postage.
That's with postage, and I'll sign it to you as well.
Awesome.
Come on.
Okay.